Petplex, the name your pet should know. Call 929-3300.
Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm Allie and I'm the host of Petplex Animal Hospital's YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to bottle feed puppies and kittens. Since it is springtime, we call it kitten season here. Inevitably, one of us or two of us wind up with some rescues that we have to bottle feed. So I thought that maybe I could go over that with you guys. So the first thing we need to go over is the supplies that you'll need. I recommend having a blanket and a washcloth available. You'll need to select the correct bottle size for what you're feeding. So this would be the 4-ounce size, and I would recommend this for kittens. And then we have an 8-ounce size that I'd recommend for bigger puppies. The next thing you'll need is a small pair of scissors. And what you're actually going to want to do is cut a small X into the middle of the nipple. So you'll take your scissors and just kind of cut an X shape into it. And this is going to help the milk come out a little bit easier, so that way the kittens don't have to suckle so hard, or puppies. And then you're going to want to select what type of milk you want. Obviously, make sure you have the correct species, either puppy or kitten milk. The other thing you're going to want to make sure that it has is colostrum. Colostrum is the most important part of milk because it has the maternal antibodies in it, and that builds the either puppy or kitten's immune system up. So you want to make sure that your milk contains that. The next thing you want to go through is whether you want powdered or canned milk. Canned milk I find easier, it's less messy, it's less hassle. It's only good for 24 hours after you open it though. And make sure you put it in the fridge. The powdered form you actually have to kind of mix up according to the size of the bottle you have, and each type of powdered milk is different, so you'll just want to read the instructions on the back as to how you want to mix it up. Again, what you mix up is only good for 24 hours, but the good thing about that is that you don't have to mix up the whole bottle. You can actually just mix up enough for the container size that you're using. Okay, now that you've selected and mixed up what type of milk that you need, you're going to want to go ahead with the bottle feeding. I have a fake kitten here and our blanket. So I normally open up the blanket like this and have my puppy or kitten inside of it. I tuck their front feet in and kind of swaddle them like a baby, like this, so their head is sticking out. I gently lift them up. It's kind of hard with the stuffed animal. I gently lift them up and support them underside. And then I'll have our bottle. Our bottle ideally should be around room temperature to a little bit warmer. So you always want to test it on your wrist just like you would do with a human. It's good temperature. The way that I normally recommend warming up milk is putting the milk into a warm water soak or running it under warm water. I don't generally recommend the microwave because you're not going to have an even distribution of the heat. So we have our kitty all bundled up. We are supporting them with our forearm and tilting the bottle in. I hold the bottle like this. So I kind of guide it with my pinky finger. I hold the end of it with my index finger, and then I have my middle finger and thumb in the middle to squeeze. So you're coming in at a 45-degree angle and squirting just the tiniest bit onto their mouth to stimulate them to nurse. Eventually they'll grab on and start nursing. If they don't immediately, just kind of keep doing what you're doing and put a little bit onto their mouth, wait, and eventually they'll get the idea and start nursing. You're keeping at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to slightly squeeze the bottle with your middle finger and your thumb. And that's going to help a little bit of the milk come out too. And sometimes that can actually get them to nurse a little bit better. So while you're nursing and they've latched on, what you're going to want to do is slightly rotate the bottle. Just like that. And that's going to make sure that we don't get the air bubbles in splashing back in their throat, and we don't accidentally have them inhaling milk. Once they start nursing, it actually forms like a vacuum seal in the bottle, and there winds up being this immense pressure at the base of the bottle, or where there's air inside. So tilting the bottle slowly can kind of release that pressure so we're not getting that buildup, and that way the milk isn't splashing in their face or back into their mouth and airways. So kitten will kind of decide when we're all done. We'll say kitten's done. The next thing you're going to want to do if you're having to bottle feed a puppy or a kitten, you're going to want to stimulate them to urinate and defecate. So that's where our washcloth comes in. We're all done with our feeding. We're going to get our washcloth and we're going to dampen it with a little bit of warm water. And then you're going to stimulate them just like mom would. So you're going to just wipe kind of front to back, or gently kind of pat. And you're going to keep doing this until the puppy or kitten urinates or defecates, or both. Hopefully we're doing both. Generally between weeks 5 and 6, we'll start to urinate and defecate on our own. Okay, so we stimulated our kitten to urinate or defecate, we bottle fed, and now the only thing that's left to talk about is kind of our schedule. So I would normally recommend feeding every 2 hours for at least the first 3 weeks of life, and then kind of weaning from there. So at week 3 we could try every 3 hours, at week 4 we could try every 4 hours, and just kind of weaning off of that. Between weeks 4 and 5, we're probably going to start teething. We're going to be chewing on the bottle a whole bunch. At that time, if you want to go ahead and start offering a canned food mixed with some milk, you can. They may not start eating it quite yet, but you can offer it and get the idea that, okay, it's time for us to eat big kid food. I do recommend by week 5 at least having the milk canned food mixture solely as their diet. Mom's going to start weaning them between 5 and 6 weeks too. So once we have done the milk and canned food mixture, you can start adding in dry food too. The dry food can either be soaked with milk, or you can also just cut them off of the milk and offer dry food and see how it goes. It's completely up to you and how you feel your puppy or kitten is doing. The last thing I'm going to recommend is that you keep a log for each baby that you're bottle feeding. The log should include how often they fed, how much they ate, if they urinated, if they defecated, and if there was any issues during that time. Alright guys, in conclusion, we have talked about the importance of selecting the right type of milk. We have talked about how to bottle feed, and we have talked about how to stimulate your puppy or kitten to urinate or defecate. So in conclusion, I just want to touch on a few things. Keep in mind it is very important to keep that bottle at a 45-degree angle so we are preventing aspiration pneumonia. We don't want the puppy or kitten to be suckling too quickly or at the wrong angle, because we can have milk go down the airways and that can be really bad. So the other thing we touched on already, but I wanted to reiterate, is that making sure we rotate the bottle ever so slightly throughout the feeding. Just making sure that we're not getting that strong vacuum seal splash of air that goes into the throat. That can be pretty dangerous. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you'd like to check out future videos, go ahead and subscribe so that way you don't miss any videos that we post. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!